We're not afraid of you, because in God we trust. For America, we are ready to fight. For America, we are ready to die.
Here we go. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna, final hour, breaking news. Just to let you know, I've been trying to record this conversation already at least twice, with Michael Emery, independent journalist, accredited media from the Voice of Idaho in Idaho, but right now he's in Oregon. He's been in Oregon since the beginning of this drama with this occupation or refugee occupation, or you want to gonna call it. Anyway, he's still there. And I had a lot of hard time to go through his connection through Skype and through phones. Finally, I was able to get it on. And he has some very important news that I think we need to know. If we believe that everything is over there in Oregon, I believe we're going to have a nice surprise here. And unfortunately now what's happening, it is not over for the rest of us. Anybody of us who is trying to speak up, to have also an opinion, okay, exercising our First Amendment on this matter, about the BLM, about the federal government intrusion, about our Constitution, our individual rights, guess what? Unfortunately, we are all in danger. There are many warrants out there, people that they attended the bandits peacefully just to protest, or even just members of the media. People have been already being arrested. More is going on. But let me get Michael Emery from the Voice of Idaho here directly from Oregon on the air. Michael, are you there?
Yes, I am, and thank you for having me.
Perfect. Please give us I'll give you the floor. Tell us all the updates we should know. For example, what's going on now after the occupation is over? Are there still presence of FBI agents? And if there are still presence, how many you can somehow guess and where they're located?
Well, I was in Idaho getting tags on my car 2 days ago, and I rolled back into Burns. One of the first times I was able to leave the area. And I sitting at Safeway, and I watched a flatbed truck go by with 2 Bearcats. I got it on our live streams if you want to see it on our Ustream, which I can't use YouTube because it scrambles all of our live streams. So in any case, you can check that out on The Voice of Idaho, checking out on our Ustream. Anyways, when I passed the airport, and the Bearcats were going through the back end. They're going into the back way to the Wildlife Resource Center, not through the front by the Narrows. And I noticed that they still had a continuancy down there at the airport. This morning I drove into town. The barricades are removed around the courthouse. There is nothing out there at the airport, and the presence of the FBI you can't see. It's like business as usual. But they've all removed their sources in the middle of the night out to the refuge center. And I'm going to try to get some more information. The problem with this is, because of these attacks, they don't want me to speak. So if anything happens to me, folks, it's because of this, because I'm the last one standing out here as far as media goes. There has been a discohesion campaign and psyops that we need to learn from. And because of the intuitive nature of patriots, where we can sniff out somebody that may have a precognizance of wanting to do some harm to us, or they have something else, some ulterior motive. The way psyops works is they work through somebody's counsel. So somebody that is working off of ego or is easily manipulated, they maneuver them into positions of trust, okay, and then guide their actions so that they have dissent amongst the ranks and get everybody to infight. And that's what I was trying to find out, like with Rickheimer saying, hey, if you come down here, only come to the resource center and help. If you're outbound security, we don't need your help because of the actions of the PPN not coming directly down there. Anybody that's been in any type of FOBs, forward observation bases, understand that you must have 3-tier security at best, and at least 2-tier with outbound resources for protection, at least for intelligence. That was being destroyed through the whole line, and I was working in the background to try to find out why Rickheimer was saying this, because he's not that smart, and I just couldn't see him being a direct operative.
Now, question,
nor a lot of the other ones.
Michael, who is this guy? Who is this gentleman?
Rickheimer is one of the guys that was working with Ammon Bundy when they first took the wildlife resource area. The meeting that we had the day before the march for the Hammonds, before the resource center was taken, I've got that video up. I think you can find it. Where the only objection that people had on it, on the militia being here and stuff, was that they were concerned about their safety and the actions of the militia because of Rickheimer's statement. He's a little bit of a loose cannon, and we found out that Rickheimer hasn't barely been in any type of active combat patrols. He was a FOBIT. He was in the area, but nobody would use him because those kind of guys usually end up getting shot by their own men.
Where is he now?
He's in jail. They arrested him.
So you think maybe just a person with no experience and a big ego, or maybe something more?
No, it was a person with no experience but an ego that he had to protect like he was Mr. Johnny Soldier.
Okay. So now I always want to say, when we mention names of people, I always say, I want to give him the chance to say their side. Unfortunately, now he can't, but whenever he can, he's welcome to be on the show and say his side. That's a fact, because I wasn't there, and I know you as a reporter. I think you've done a great job, but I always want to be fair to give the other side the opportunity to defend themselves. Now, question is, tell us a little bit more. We heard about there are several warrants, especially also connected to the Bundys. I mean, people that they were there as a journalist, or even people that were there maybe as peaceful protesters. I mean, Pete Santilli right now is in the cage, no bail. And what I find disturbing is the fact that with no previous criminal record, regardless that we may agree or not with his thoughts and with his words, he still has a First Amendment. But the point is, he never really did anything harmful to anybody. He may have a big mouth, but that's exactly what is the First Amendment for. Now, we may agree or not with his method, but the point for him to spend now time in jail with no type of bails, what do you think about this?
Well, what I've noticed is there was people through the Oregonian and local people around here that had like this, I can't remember the gentleman's name, but you can see it towards one of his last videos where there was a bunch of media down at the resource center in the Ammon Bundy put out that sign and everything, and then these girls sang, but he was bullhorning this person that was, and I can't remember his name, but this person continually came up there, and he was an operative, and ticked him off. So what they're doing is they're shutting down alternative media, but they use Pete Santilli first. Okay, and I've been out here, but my news agency has been censored so much that the only person I had to get any information out through was with Pete Santilli. I know that right now I've got a big target on me, but I think the only reason they're not coming after me right now is because I've got a lot of friends that I've built weapons for, and they've come to my aid before.
Question is, let's give us a little bit. I mean, what is I know that, but I would like to remind what you used to do, that you have those friends as your professional background. Why you think you're not in jail too? After all, you were a reporter. I follow your job. You were there in Oregon. You're still in Oregon. I know that you were very professional, in my opinion. You didn't take much sides. You were mostly to report the news, but you had also some moments that you were trying to educate, for example, the FBI about the Constitution and things like that. And I think it's something that is very important as a citizen. Maybe as a reporter would be something a little more partial. But why do you think they didn't attack you yet? They didn't put you in the cage?
Well, one of the things is that I've worked undercover, and through that undercover job of 2001, 2002, I whistle blew on senior individuals in Nashville. And then also I whistle blew on an armory I built. One of the things that people need to understand is that contractors need weapons. I'm a foreign weapons specialist. I built thousands of weapons for different individuals, and I've hobnobbed through different areas. And if it's a belt-fed machine gun or a cruise serve and you're a Class 2 licensed dealer, you probably know me by first name basis.
Okay. And I'm sure, listen, Michael, I'm sure that this is okay when you have maybe an agent or somebody that is a foot soldier, okay? But when the orders come from above, at that point, I don't think that, maybe that's not enough, because, at this point now we know very well all the orders, they come directly from the top, and there is a long plan of almost entrap the bandits, of course, and everybody that was successful in bringing up what happened at the bandits last year or so. And now we know very well that that plan is trying to get revenge, and more important, to put people in the cages. So I think there's more than just that. Maybe the way you behave, maybe what you said, maybe what you didn't say. What do you think? Or maybe it's still it's still early to speak. Maybe they're going to catch you too. How many warrants do we know that they have out there that we are not allowed even to know the names?
I understand there's 150, somewhere in that general scope, and they're using that as a gun at the heads of all the ranchers. They're asking for aid and support, but the Committee of Safety is not conducting themselves as a Committee of Safety. They're a council, like a city council. The Committee of Safety was formed by our founding fathers to protect people and give them immunity so the king's men wouldn't come after them. The same thing is happening here. But I can't call out or ask people to help, or they can't either, if the Committee of Safety doesn't stand up and take the possibility of the hits. This is just the way it is. And also, I'd like to say that there's been a massive psyops that's gone on out here. And I'd like to challenge an individual by the name of Anthony Bosworth to defend himself, because I've exposed some things that I wasn't too comfortable with. And how psyops works is you take people like Rickheimer that is easily manipulated, beware of somebody's counsel, and they get actions that will defeat efforts. And that's called discohesion campaign. And it's classic throughout third world countries, but I watched it play out here as well. And I directly think that there's something to do with Anthony Bosworth and his counsel. And I have reason to say that, because I understand how confidential informants work. CIs, I have a CI number, and they tried to destroy me. And my mother-in-law was murdered brutally, trying to make it look like I did it, when I had good agents with nobody knew it, but them had me in Boise, Idaho, and a week later I find out she's murdered and I was a person of interest. Tell you right now, we're dealing with some really sick psychopaths, but these psychologists and stuff know how to spin us. We have seen the enemy, and the enemy is us, because they know how to work us.
What does it mean, CI? Just to be sure everybody understands.
A confidential informant can be the crack girl down the street that's turning evidence to her pimps, all the way to somebody like Hal Turner that did Turner Divers, that was working with the skinheads, and he was exposed in Oklahoma on a court case that he was a senior FBI agent.
Wow.
Yeah. So if you want to know what PSYOPs is all about, come to me. I'll be able to blow the top off of it, and that is why I have not been able to be directly in the middle of all of this like I should have been from the very start, and they have stirred me away. There was not one time I could meet with Ammon personally and privately, because every time I did, there was people whispering, "Oh, Michael's a Fed. Oh, that's so classic." Look, folks, you're not going to see a direct Fed in most cases because they get sniffed out too quick. But what you are going to see is people like Rickheimer and others that, because of their egos and stuff, they can be manipulated. And probably the reason that nobody would talk to me is because they said I was a Fed. That's what I found out from guys that were looking into me. And they said, "We know you're not a Fed, Michael, but all the guys at the gun dealers and stuff said you were the best on weapons, but be careful of him because he's a Fed." I mean, I'm so sick of that.
Well, maybe that worked out good for you, because at that point you were now able to keep yourself detached, but still there as a member of the media. And since you mentioned, of course, every time I mention somebody, I always want to be fair with everybody. Anthony Bosworth, I had him on the show a few times during his arrest in this case on Washington State, when he was carrying an unloaded weapon on what's supposed to be private property, but then we found out there was federal property on the parking lot or there on the parking area. Anthony, I want you on the show. I want you to pretty much give you the opportunity to challenge or even rebuke what you say. And this is exactly why I like to do this show. I want to give everybody the opportunity to expose their ideas and to be defending their ideas and also their positions. So what you
Sure.
say is very important. I think, we need to have an open mind on everything. At the same time, I must be fair. I want to give everybody that we mention, they have the right to defend themselves. I'm glad that I'm going to try to talk to, even today, if I can, to Anthony, because I want to say 2 sentences. And more important, we are here. We need to find out and learn from the mistakes, even if there was just arrogance. And I'm telling you, arrogance can kill you. So it is not something minor, because even just arrogance is something very bad. What happened in Oregon, it has been exactly what the enemy wanted. They wanted to discredit us. They wanted to create losing the minds and hearts of people. They wanted to try to create this bad image. And on top, for me was really no point to go there in the middle of nowhere in this refuge and give an opportunity to the federal government to attack you because you break somehow even just some basic, let's say, trespassing laws, okay? That was a protest that I tell you, I think they were very happy to find out. What do you think about that? I mean, don't you think it was kind of impulsive and for me also very dangerous and wrong to go there and to take over that place in the middle of nowhere and giving the opportunity to the federal government to come after you?
Let me put it to you this way, as transparently as I possibly can.
Mm-hmm.
I heard rumors that was a potential, and my job was to make sure that everybody followed the rules and the laws, okay? Because that march that everybody went to, that protest to get the redress of grievance that actually exhibited evidence to Grassi and other people within this state that of criminal intent they could not have. So after that march, we were all to go to the fairgrounds, and the Committee of Safety was going to, which had already been enacted, was going to talk to everybody to form a people's grand jury of investigation and to go forward with that. Now, I'm not saying anything against Ammon. He's a great man and everything else, but it opened up an environment of discreditment. Now people were taking advantage of that situation to expose a lot of truths, and it started going the right way that they couldn't defeat. So they had to regroup their efforts and create a discohesion so nobody would work together, and an infighting situation. And they have, whenever they do operations and plans, they think it all through. What if it goes this way? What if it goes that way? Well, we've got these people in place we can spin. We can get them angry at this person. Mm-hmm. This is why I want Anthony Bosworth in front of me to ask him some serious questions, because he has done contractual duties. He does understand what 3-tier security perimeters mean. And when somebody that should understand disrespects outbound security, my warning flags go up. And when I watch him spinning people that are of lower intelligence and dimensional thinking into an angry footing, like, to put them against you and to argue with you and to create that dissension, that's the first thing you want to remove in those situations. As a reporter, I have to report the news and the information as critically and as soundly as I can, and that's why I'm saying this. I have nothing against Anthony. What I do have is some necessary credibility and understanding of how PSYOPs works, but most people don't. Okay. And an intuitive nature that has served me well. And so, yes, I would like nothing better than to give Anthony a chance to defend himself. Maybe he just messed up like everyone else and couldn't see it. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
Question.
But he was the last person I seen, because I had to go get some people out of there, just trying to help them because, to see what's going on as a reporter.
Okay. Now, question. What do you think is going to happen in the near future? Because we have I don't think the Oregon situation was something on its own. I think it was somehow pushed and architected by behind. We have now an economic situation that is, maybe people don't follow very much, but if you're following, you know that it's coming to a point that could be an economic crash anytime. We know that we have a very important, one of the last defender of our Constitution in this republic, Justice Antonin Scalia, mysteriously found dead And we have also, of course, something that could be used as an excuse to declare martial law. I mean, we already have a sort of a martial law there in Oregon, in Burns. We had martial law there. I mean, I saw the videos, people that could even drive anymore to their properties without having a rifle pointed at their face and roadblocks. Now, what do you think? What do your guts tell you? What do you think we are facing right now?
I absolutely know what they were trying to maneuver patriots to come to the aid of the 4 that was left, and those 4 were not that intelligent, and some of them had some mental issues and things, easily manipulated. I don't know what the truth was with those people, but they were bait. And the patriots didn't bite on that bait, and they're going forward anyways with the discreditment campaigns. But this is a staging area out here beyond the eyesight of people, and we're not seeing resources leave. We are still seeing resources coming in. As far as the national crisis goes, you've got Russia that's in a moral high ground that is fighting the real terrorists like ISIS and the former Al-Qaeda, which they exposed were directly paid and funded and aided and abetted by not only the United States, by higher commands, but also Israel and then Saudi Arabia and so on and so forth. And since they've gone on the attack on ISIS, they've also taken out some of those assets as well on the dark hats of our government. Now, here's the good news, folks. There's a call sign out there, and I want anybody that works for the government to listen to this very carefully. Santa Claus has come to town. We've checked the list. We've checked it twice. We now know who's naughty or nice. It is time for you to make a decision on what side of the fence you stand on. Do you stand on the side of the fence that your great-great-grandchildren will still be free and independent, the way they're meant to be? Or are you on the side of the dark where your money and your pensions and stuff are more important than that? And may the chains of slavery rest lightly on your wrist. It is time. You have no room to sit on the fence now. This is about a moral high ground, and there is only one crime. Harmful intent to another is a measure of a crime. And if there isn't that, there isn't a crime. What we're seeing now is these agencies are committing harmful intent to another. Your paycheck is not more important than the generations to come and their freedoms. And this is worldwide. There is a revolt against the Illuminati right now, the powers that be, the money masters, whatever you want to call them. And the internet has won the information war, and there is nowhere for them to run. Now they're going overt and open, and they don't and ridiculous in their charges. And it's only going to get worse. We need to step back, smell the roses, start working together and quit infighting, and start thinking about the light of love and light of truth and the defense of that. And if any patriot has harmful intent to another, and it's not in a defensive manner, then what's your gut check? What's going on with you?
Michael, where are you right now? Which part of, are you still in Oregon, or you're driving back to Idaho?
No, I've only been able to leave twice, and that was just for like 24 hours, and that's it. I've been here the whole time, and I'm sitting on the side of the road heading back to a rancher's place where I'm staying. If anybody out there wants to get any kind of intelligence, maybe you could help them so I don't get inundated with phone calls, but help them go through you to get to me if it's viable enough to, and I'll help in any way I can, because this is about the people of Harney County so that they can live a happy, peaceful life and be productive. That's all I'm about. But you know what? We've got criminals all over the place that want to cause harmful intent to us and our children's future. And we have to be men and women that stand up on our hind legs, and the guys inside the machine will come to your aid. But you're going to have to be brave enough to take the risk of a few hits by standing up with your voices first.
What do you think about Cliven Bundy that he did? He left the county in Nevada, his place, and jumped on the plane, and then he got arrested. I mean, what do you think was a plan too? Some sort of a...
Well, they're taking advantage of situations. They didn't get the big civil war that they wanted, but they just went ahead and went forward like they did. What you're looking at is an insanity of an act that they wanted it so bad they're just doing it anyways. See, they don't have no foundation for if there was to be suits right now in their courts, it would create a new national debt if it ever sees the light of court. It's not going to, folks. They don't care about making mistakes. They have gone rogue. It's such, the charges that they've thrown out are the most insane things I've ever seen. Yeah. And when the due process is over, it's gone. You have no right of defense now. They can do anything they want. They can come and pick up any journalist. Hell, they may pick me up today. Mm-hmm. But I'm not going to be silent. I'm going to stand on the moral high ground. And even those officers that are out there that think they're doing their jobs and stuff, I care about their children. And I'm doing this, gosh, I guess I'm a canary in the minefield. If they come get me, who knows what'll happen. Yeah. But I know that the good guys in the machine are standing back, trying to help protect certain people as long as they stay on that moral fiber. And that's what I'm trying to do. And what I see with Cliven Bundy is that everybody was checking to make sure he didn't have any arrest warrants. And that is absolute bogus. What we have now is an occupying force within our law enforcement that doesn't care about due process and that has committed themselves to a totalitarian, psychopathic insanity that there is no common sense, there is no due process, and we have no promises of any protection now. Exactly. There's not one of us that are safe now.
Michael, you know what really is amazingly dangerous here as a precedent. You know, we have all these people that they are being detained without bail. Many of them, at least most of them, they had no previous criminal records. Let's talk, for example, I don't know, Santilli, okay? And I'm not a fan. I had my own personal differences of opinions with him. I used to have things that I used to do with him, but I put that aside. I look at this. If he's a journalist and he was there, he didn't rob anybody, he didn't kill anybody, he didn't, do any type of physical violent thing. And let's say even we have these charges of conspiracy or whatever you want to call them, okay? To be without bail, I don't think even if you are a bank robber or a rapist, you still get a bail somehow, okay?
Sure.
I mean, that's for me very disturbing. It almost looks like they're using the National Defense Authorization Act of 2012 with the clause of indefinite detention. If they please them much, they can throw you in jail till they are pleased. What do you think is happening? I mean, don't you think it's very something?
That's exactly what's happening. That's what they're doing is they're pulling out the Patriot Act. They can do anything they want. We have no due process left. They have pulled the plug on this and have exposed themselves. The curtain is open, like Alice in Wonderland. It is open. They have exposed themselves, and they don't care about if there's any fallback because they're going to go further, folks. There's nothing we can do about it but stand up on our hind legs and say no. Look. These people in Harney County stood up on their hind legs and had a redress of grievance with open criminality within their court system. It's rampant everywhere. We have to say no. We have to stand up, and they are going to do whatever they want to do. They've already over the years, how many people have we heard of that have been murdered by criminal elements within our government? My mother-in-law was murdered by criminal elements within this government. I watched Lavoie openly assassinated. And you know what? There was good people inside of the machine. See, the Department of Defense, the Homeland Security allows police forces to use military drones, and if you notice, the timestamps and everything were all changed so that they could protect where that footage come from. Mm-hmm. And that was absolutely an open murder. They flipped him off. They spit on his body. They kicked him. And I'm hearing some other reports that I can't confirm right now that they even did some mutilation of his body.
Oh, my gosh. Listen, okay. Question is, you think that video that was released, normally to get something from the federal government, look, for example, the alleged airplane at the Pentagon, took 2 years of lawsuits and still we didn't get anything. I mean, why you think they released that video shot by this drone or whatever it was?
White hats.
Why?
White House released that right after the reports from that one gentleman that was in the vehicle that first put his report out. Then Shauna Cox put hers out, and Victoria Sharp put them out, which corresponded, and they had never met each other after the arrest, and it all corresponded with the video, folks. They released the footage. Good guys released that footage because they're sick and tired of it. Just remember that the Uniform Code of Military Justice, there are men that are JAG officers and more that are watching this situation. And it's not just us. I mean, no one wants to fight anymore. We're sick of this. We want to travel the stars. These freak psychopaths that have like a cancer or a virus that have poisoned all of our nations must cease. They must go away. They are the problem. These freaks, these monsters, these criminals.
See, I mean, my point is very simple. You know, we're supposed to also have at that point the ground cameras that they're not released. But even just looking from the point of view from these drones, it's so easy to see without even any type of training or any type of special degrees. You can see very well that this was a man was trying to surrender, and he hands up and decided to shoot him even before he was out of the car. They decided to shoot the car immediately. It was an ambush. Now, my point is, what exactly is going to happen? I mean, it's almost like they're doing on our face. They shot somebody called Blood that was tried to surrender, and the rest of the nation is say, okay, and so what? I mean, what do you think is the end game here?
What the end game is that criminals become dangerous when they know the jig is up, and there's a lot of moral men that are listening to this program right now that work within those agencies. And the only people they have working for them now that actually give them any loyalty are the freaks, the criminals, the pedophiles, the murderers, the monsters within our machine that love to harm somebody, that love these kind of things. There is a war about ready to break out inside of the machine. I've said it for years. You're going to have a cop car against a cop car. There's already a war inside of the machine to remove this cancer, this virus, this monsters worldwide. Russia's done a damn fine job removing them, you know, and you know what? The Russian mob became legitimate. They started kicking out anybody that didn't have moral high ground, and they're actually exposing this operation of 9/11 was an inside job. We know it was, and we have all the information to it, just a disgusting level. We have so much information. There's police running amok, murdering people on a daily basis, just about. And that's what they put in these law enforcement positions. And many good men leave. I've watched this for years. Over the last 15 years, it has gotten insane since 9/11.
Question.
It's time.
Michael,
it's time to enforce the laws.
I know that you mentioned before that you had a conversation with Lavoie the day before he was murdered. It was over the phone or in person?
In person.
In person. And what was
Come
about?
up to the top. I didn't even go down. We sat and talked. I also was talking to some people that were intel that was trying to help through the PPN. And they were exposing this discohesion campaign. And, you know, Anthony Bosworth, when you're listening to this, I'm not here to destroy you. I'm not here to throw a bunch of mud in your face, because I don't care if you like me or not. This isn't about liking somebody or not. But you know better. And that's what we exposed. That you were one of the main people spreading that discohesion through and working through Anthony and others that were closely connected to Ammon to give him misadvice. That's what we exposed. And that's an affirmative, 100%. And why were you doing that? That's what we told Lavoie, and Lavoie said that must stop. And those people that were coming there to aid and support were going to come in. And I can't say who it was. I'm just a reporter. But I have to, protect my sources. But within 3 days, that situation would have been corrected, and that there would have been proper communication for all patriots outbound and inbound, and there wouldn't have been room for them to do anything like they did. They had to close the door quick. And I suspect it may just been a coincidence, but I suspect they had an order to make sure that Lavoie didn't make it out of it. And they tried to open fire and kill everyone, really, because when they first stopped him, Payne put his hands out and said, "Hey, there's women and children in the car," and they opened fire. Lavoie was they were peppering the vehicle as it spun down the road.
Wow.
They didn't care about who was in the vehicle. And when he was coming up the roadblock, they didn't even give him a chance to slow down as he was starting to, going, "Oh, what do I do?" They were opening fire on that vehicle. And he jumped out saying, "Shoot me," to draw fire away from that vehicle. And hell, after they laid him down, they mowed through the back of it. And the only reason that those two girls are alive right today is because of his gear in the back of it. And you know what? We're never going to see all that gear that was in the back with bullet holes all through it. And that vehicle was Swiss cheese, and we know for a fact it was. And we're never going to see that vehicle. Okay, these people committed serious crimes. Those guys, and they had a party, the Burns, with Sheriff Ward, Saturday night after Lavoie's funeral. They had a party and stuck it in everybody's face, and it was a private party with the people that have family members that are invested in the crimes out here,
Wow.
laughing and joking and celebrating and stuff, and trying to egg the patriots on to get a fight going, and they didn't get it. We've stood on the moral high ground to try to there's a lot of good officers that are behind the scenes. I mean, who wants to have firefights in war? Why can't we have due process? Well, they won't allow it because they're guilty. They're guilty of so many crimes. We all know it, and we still sit back and take it. And we're going to have to stand up on our hind legs in our counties and get constitutional sheriffs, but you're going to have to come to their aid. You're going to have to form a real committee of safety. And if you want to find out how to really do it, you can contact me, and I'll tell you, lay it right out just like our founding fathers. And it's simple. It isn't complicated. You just have to give aid and support to the people of moral high ground to expose the criminality within your county, and then have a court process to just like any other court process with a jury. And if they're found guilty, then they're arrested. And who's going to arrest them? The people are going to arrest them. That's what we have to do, or it is all lost.
Michael, I know that you're in pretty good health, right? I mean, you're doing fine. How old are you?
I'm 55, I think.
Okay. Did you do a blood test, some sort of are you okay? Cholesterol, heart attack, anything going on with you? You feeling fine?
Oh, yeah, I feel fine. I'm one of those people that, that don't get sick or anything else. One of the things that I would never commit suicide or anything else like that, but I can tell you right now that if they tried to do anything like that to me, heads will turn. I have vanilla envelopes from people, and I'll use one name, Officer Uxley in Boise and Ada County was arrested. Well, not arrested, but he arrested somebody that was of high official nature in a compromising situation with somebody. That's all I'll say. But that was documented. They took his flight status away because he was an air guard within 12 hours. And they destroyed that guy's career and threatened him. But here's something to think about. I've worked the armories of a lot of people, including guys in the DEA, and they've been so sick about stuff that they've given me a lot of information to come out at a certain time, and I made sure it's safe. And I don't even know where some of it is, but I got friends inside the machine that knows where it is. So guys, if you want to go ahead and pull that rabbit out of the hat, go right ahead. But remember, the last time you did it, it almost blew up on you.
Okay, Mike. At least I want to say thank you for all this very important information, and I want to give you one more time the chance to remind how people can contact you. Give the website where can they reach you out.
Okay, we own the Voice of Idaho TVOI News. You can reach us through that, or you can email me at mgundoc@gmail.com. And if you want to try to help us financially a little bit, we don't get any monies in. We get a lot of views, but no money right now. Go to our website and throw us $1 or $2. Anything will help. We have a donation box on there and a PayPal account. Just throw your prayers out there, and and just realize that it's not all over. These people have lost. It's just we got to get through this attitude adjustment, and we need to be smart. And always remember, if it isn't on the moral high ground, don't do it.
All right. Thank you, Michael. I want to thank you. And I want to say again, this show, it is about information. And I want to give everybody the same opportunity to talk about things, okay? We mentioned several people in this interview with Michael Emery, and it's my duty to give them a chance to say their side. And then, of course, I would like, because it's always about who said the last word. For me, the last word is going to be said by the listeners. You decide. All I can do is give the microphone to people. And if Mr. Michael Emery and, of course, Anthony Bosworth, they want to be 1 hour together on the same time on the show to share what's going on, what happened, or what they think may happen, this is a show exactly to do that. I invite them both. First, I would like to invite Anthony Bosworth, that I talked to him several times when I had him on the show, for other issues, to be here and say his side. And then, to be fair, I would like to give everybody on the same time, if they agree, to be here to at least sometimes you need to have talking directly to the other person and bring facts and evidence. And the only reason why, not because I want to divide, but if we made a mistake, or I say, if they made a mistake, I wasn't there, we need to understand what mistakes were made. And if there is something that is wrong, must be investigated, it's our duty to know what's going on. That's it. My only job is to bring you the facts and the truth. Meanwhile, I want to thank you, everybody, and I want to remind you, this is not a hobby. This is not something I do for fun. I tell you, there are no benefits really, besides try to feel good at night and say I did what I could to stop evil. And I tell you, it's becoming more and more a dangerous act. If you want to help out the show, I tell you, you can do it very easily. As you know, as you heard before from my other guest, independent media, we don't really get much here. Okay, we are not like NPR. We do not suck your tax dollar, but we can ask you. If you like what we're doing, you can support us. You can go to zanna.us, www.zanna.us, and download any of my songs. That's one of the things I do for a living, for 99 cents. And just doing that, not only you get my songs, but also you can support this broadcast. Thank you very much, and God's willing, I will talk to you next Sunday. You'll be listening to Luca Zanna, and this was Love, Guns, and Freedom.